Hi everybody, so I'm back again as promised to make a video about what I do for my crochet business. So before I get into all of that, hi, my name is Lady K of Creative Lady K handicraft business. I had a previous video talking a little bit more about what that means and everything, so I won't do it now. But I do want to come up here and introduce, I guess, a series of what I'm going to be doing, leading you guys along the journey of making a character blanket, which for some reason, that's where all of this traction is coming from. So, like I said before, or I guess in the previous video, I showed you guys a Thomas the Train blanket that I had did for my son. And since then, made two more for commissions. This is what this series is going to be about. How I make those character blankets from beginning to end. So with all of that being said, please stay tuned. The first step in making a graphgan, or as I call a character blanket, is what we're going to be going over today. So that means supplies, what the planning looks like, materials, and then also showing you how I really look for pictures or design pictures and everything like that. So that'll be step one, all about getting started on making graphgans. If you have any questions or concerns, or you just want to chat and speak and say something, please reach out to me. I am on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and now YouTube. Okay, so you can just type in Creative Lady K on any of those platforms, and you'll see me. Okay, or the stuff that I put up there, which is definitely more important and more interesting to me, I promise you. So with that being said, let's get into it. Okay, so what I have up set up here is just some supplies. Now this could, don't pay attention to the colors because this, I mean, it could be anything, but just for video purposes, you're gonna have your yarn. Of course, you're gonna need yarn. And we'll get into what exactly we need when we start looking at our pattern. But yarn and scissors, of course, these are going to be your best friend. A crochet hook. So this is just my little system that I rigged up. So this is just a pencil cushion that you put on like a number 2 pencil. And then I just have a couple of rubber bands to keep it on. Because I do find when I'm crocheting for long periods, the bottom part right here kind of can get tender in my palm. So I like to have this pulled down. So when I'm grabbing it, the cushion is on my palm and not so much touching the end of the needle, okay, or the hook, okay. Then we have what I call my bobbin. So this one I've been getting a lot of questions about what I use. So I tried a couple different methods, but I always go back to my time-tested Dollar Tree clothespins. Okay, so these are the jumbo clothespins. They come in a pack of 6 for $1 at my Dollar Tree. And I'm sure you can find them at any other type of dollar store, or Roses or something like that. But those are my go-to method because I could just wrap the yarn around and then clip it onto the piece that I'm working on. Okay, but we'll get into that here pretty soon. Okay, so before we get started, I just want to pop up here right quick and just explain some things. Um, I will be using Stitch Fiddle today to make our mock graph, if you will. Please remember, I do not work for Stitch Fiddle. I am not a pro at Stitch Fiddle, and I'm sure you can probably find a video that explains it a little bit more. That's how I learned through other people's videos. But I will be able to walk you through the method that I use or what I do when I'm on Stitch Fiddle. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, please bear with me if you can't see what I'm doing. I'm a very new videographer, whatever it's called, so please just bear with me. But I'm in front of my PC. I found working with graphs, it works better for me when I have a mouse where I'm able to navigate instead of my laptop mouse pad thing. Okay, so of course I'm a Hoovian, 100% nerd, so that is my screensaver. Alonzi. So while this is turning on, I will go ahead and think of a picture. So the number one thing you should do before you even pull up Stitch Fiddle is know what you want to do. Okay. So in my previous video, I had picked Black Panther as a suggestion. But I'm not going to do Black Panther for a bit. However, I have been thinking about making I don't know if you guys know it, but this is Yusuke Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho, okay? Which is a Japanese anime. If you've been following my page for a while, that's pretty much what I make is anime character blankets, okay? So which I have a drawing somewhere, but I'm not going to pull it out. But for the sake of this video and how I would normally do things now, and I'm pretty sure most of you guys, we just go on Google and find what image we would like to put to crochet. Okay, so I just type in what I'm looking for. I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me try to zoom it in a little bit. I feel like that's really big. Okay, I'll try it like this. So I'm going to just Google his name, which, I mean, it pops right up for me. I don't know if you can tell. Then I come over to images because we are looking at all of the different images for Yu Yu Hakusho. The main person that I would like to do is Yusuke, which is this young fella here. Okay. So when you're looking at images to do for Stitch Fiddle, you should have in mind what size you would like to have. So for me, I operate in sizes from small, which is like a lapgan, a small blanket, all the way up to king size bed. Okay. So with that in mind, when I don't have a commission or anything like that, I probably just do a small blanket. So what I like to do when I am looking at pictures online, I'll type in black and white to give me a bit more dimension in my pictures. And then you can always go back and add color in later on Stitch Fiddle. So this right here just gives me sort of ideas and everything. This part can take a really long time if you have a concept but you don't know what it is that you're going for. So like, do I want Yusuke in his fighting position, what he's known for, or do I just want a picture of his face? So just understanding the concept, of course, looking through pictures and everything, and whatever just jumps and speaks to you, grab it. Okay. Okay, so I went ahead and time skipped to something that I would settle on, which is this image here. Okay. Um, so what I would do is just save the image, whatever your system you use for your computer. Sorry about all the noise, guys. That's my son upstairs in his room. But anyway, so whatever system you use to save, go ahead and save it. So I save image as to my computer. Now we are ready for dun, 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 heading over to Stitch Fiddle, okay? So I keep my Google up because I need to reference the original picture, or you can go to your pictures account, but it's whatever. So I come over to stitchfiddle.com. Let me zoom in a bit. Okay. And I come to create new, which is the number 1 here. Okay. So create new. And remind you guys, Stitch Fiddle is a free software. However, their perks, if you pay for the subscription, is just a ton better. Like I was using the free version, and it helped me with a lot of my beginner projects and everything like that. And then I felt it would be more beneficial to me to pay for their premium. Because I can have unlimited charts saved through the paid program. So anyway, it's going to say create new chart, and then underneath of that is going to give you options. So it says choose your craft. So they have 1, 2, 3, 5 different options up here. So you have crochet, cross stitch, knitting, quilting, and other. Okay, so my craft is crochet, of course. So I click it. Then it's going to bring you to a new screen, and it's going to ask you what kind of crochet project. So they have corner to corner, which is the C2C method. I do not do this method at all. Then we have crochet with colors, which is what I do when I'm working on graphgans or just blankets or tapestries or whatever. It's just row by row. Every stitch represents a color or a square. Okay. Then you have Tunisian. I have not tried Tunisian crochet graphgans, so that doesn't apply to me. And then it has free form, where you can just make your own chart, which is what I used to do before I started using like stock photos. And then fillet. That's not my area of expertise at all. So I click on crochet with colors. It's going to bring us to a new screen. It's going to ask us, how do I want to start it? Well, I like to use an empty chart. So Stitch Fiddle provides you a graph, which is awesome because I don't have it in front of me, but I had walk around with a graph notebook and with paper, and I'm literally drawing in pictures using the graph paper, which I'm not an artist, if you will. I would use the graph paper as some type of reference, and then try to work on converting that into crochet work. It was hard, let me tell you, and I just kind of stuck with like letters or calligraphy or something like that. I never really attempted to do pictures or like headshots or something like that until I discovered this software. So that's the empty chart. If you are up for using a plain graph and you put in your pictures, which I love that method 100%. Or you can do from pictures, which is what we did earlier by going to Google, picking a stock photo or something like that. And they will upload that picture to their software and already convert it into graph for you, or create QR code. That doesn't apply to me. So I'm going to choose the from picture option, and then it's going to bring us to the task at hand. Okay, so I'm gonna try to zoom out a little bit, but if this isn't really helpful for you, please let me know, and I'll try to just do it over. I hope that looks well. Okay, so in the screen you'll see an image of a camera. You just click in that camera, and it's going to bring you to your saved documents. Okay, so I'm going to pull up the your meshy picture that I chose today, and it's going to look like this. Okay, so don't be alarmed by what you see. It's not going to look like that. We actually do some math to make this into the final image that you would want. Okay, so what I do is already predetermine the size you're going to be working on. Remember, I was talking about like on the small all the way up to the king size bed. So with that in mind, I will make this a small blanket because I do not have a commission or order for this particular blanket. So if I make it, I won't have to spend so much time on it because it's just something that I just have for my shop to sell. So my smalls are like a lapgan, something that you would just throw on the back of a chair. It can fit across a bed. It's just going to be smaller than a cover. Okay, so what a lot of the hiccup comes from is trying to figure out how to make the image into the size that you want it to be. Okay, so I'm gonna try to zoom in a bit. Oh, it's not letting me show the other side. Okay, 1 second. So on the other side, we have how we are going to figure out our sizing. Okay, so we already chose our picture, right? And that's what popped up. So now we're going to come here to the size. Okay, so some people, if you already know your stitch count, you can just type in whatever it is that you want in the block where it says size. I don't know my stitch count, and I also don't really use a gauge. I just keep in mind how big I want my piece to be. Okay, so I go to exact size because I have an average that I use. So my width, I would type in 200 stitches across. Okay, and for my height, I go with 190 rows. Okay, so that's literally what that is, 200 stitches across. So when you start your chain, you do your 200 stitches plus 1, and then you work across those 200 stitches for 190 rows. Okay, and of course, remember, you can go to gauge where you can say, okay, for 30 stitches at 15 rows up, and then you just do that measurement, and that'll show you how many stitches you can fit within that height or so. That's another way to figure out your sizing. This I just did trial and error, just playing around. How big do I want my piece to be? So I used bed measurements with the twin. I know with my gauge stitch and everything like that, I have a pretty loose stitch. So I can put a lot of rows in to cover a twin size bed. So it just depends on what you know. So anyway, you scroll down and then it gives you yarn colors. Now, this part is interesting. I do find that the more colors they give us, the more detailed your chart will be. But you can also play around with it here. So I can say, oh, I only want 4 colors. This is what they'll give me. But that means that there will be more leg work in the actual chart to fit. I can 6 colors, it starts to clear it up a bit. But I usually just stick with 10 and then just use my creative juices to make it work. Okay. Now, mind you, this is not my picture. You guys saw me take it off of the internet. That's why I do not sell the patterns. It is not mine. Okay. I sell the work that I did. And sometimes I do just give it away, but for the most part, I cannot give you a pattern. So that's one of the things I'll go over in the Q&A section, as to why specifically, but for the most part, I sell the finished works. Okay. So then I just press save chart, and it's going to bring us to the main screen. Okay. So you have these symbols. I really hope it's showing up, guys. Okay, so you have these symbols here. Let me come out a bit. I know it's going to look really small, just bear with me. But you have these symbols at the top of the page. It's very self-explanatory, so don't freak out about it because they just use symbols. But if you just hover over it, it'll tell you what it is. So my charts will take us to the main screen, which I can give you guys a little sneak peek. Okay, so these are all of my charts and designs that I've started and finished and made. And they're just collected. So this is a paid feature. With the free, I think they give you, I forgot how many. Is it 13? I forgot exactly how many they give you for free, which is awesome. It's just that when I make things and sell, and then other people will want that exact one, so I just saved the charts. But anyway, going back to it. So you have my charts option. Then you have the floppy disk symbol, which is to save your work. And then you have your scroll, which if you click on this, it'll just give you the little symbol over the squares. Okay. Then you have your zoom, which is my number 1 button because you can zoom in and out of your work. So what I'm going to do is demonstrate what that means. So you just slide it so you can see the piece. Okay. And then you just adjust, however it's set up there, you guys. Okay. Looks good, don't it? And then you have your progress tracker. This is the number 1 thing I love about Stitch Fiddle because remember, I used to do this on graph paper and I had to literally cross out the row that I was on so I don't lose my place. And then with me having, a little ADHD and OCD, I have to count every block that I'm on. So I can't be distracted. I have to use stitch markers and all of those things because I will literally count and recount and recount. So that gives me a little bit of help here. It'll black out the screen. Let me click on it. So it'll black out the screen and only highlights the row you're on. So I don't know if you see the lit area down here, which is perfect. And you just, when you finish with the row, you just go to the next row. Go to the next row. And so on and so forth. And it saves your location, guys. Like, oh, I love it. So you can close out of this row, out of this work, you can close completely out of it. And Stitch Fiddle just saves it. So when you're ready to go back to it, oh, excuse me, you just click back on your progress and it'll jump right back to where you was at. Awesome. Okay. But anyway, so we have, let me zoom back in a bit. So we have this next symbol, which is this symbol right here, clock smiles, okay? So this pencil is the edit button, okay? So you just click on this and it's going to give you all of the colors that Stitch Fiddle picked up on from the picture, okay? So if you guys know me and know my work, I normally work in like a grayscale. It's just easier for me to fill in colors and to look at like outlining and everything. And then my anime characters, I leave them in a white shade. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just start working on this pattern. Okay, but I will save this step for the next video, because we're going to be discussing how to bring out more detail, how to erase, how to put back, things like that, which is a whole nother topic in and of itself. So I hope this step 1 helped somebody. Please bear with me as I learn how to video and everything like that. And then if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I love to help. I try to talk to every single person that I can who's interested in what I'm doing, because it's a hobby and a passion of mine, and I would love to just spread awareness about it. This is not your grandma's crochet, which I love saying that, but you know, we all started from grandma. So please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on some more content and the next step to this. And